Welcome to the NXT Ring of Honor News Central for the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network. This is the Pro Wrestling Personified Podcast with your host, Lewis Carlin.
Hello and welcome to the Pro Wrestling Personified Podcast, the Ring of Honor NXT edition of the Pro Wrestling Personified Podcast. I am your host, Lewis Carlin, and we are part of the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network. And it's always good to be here each and every week to run down the weekly action of Ring of Honor Wrestling and WWE NXT. And I gotta say, this week we had two very good shows. Two very good shows this week. It was 2 hours of quality pro wrestling programming this week, when it came to Ring of Honor Wrestling and NXT, and we're going to go over those shows as well. We're going to go over the Ring of Honor pay-per-view that's coming up September 22nd, Death Before Dishonor 15. Lots of good matches in there, so I'm going to run down all the matches. I believe I have the final card, and I'm going to give you my predictions to that as well. So we're going to go over all that. And it's going to spend about 40 minutes with me today, which is great. You know, again, I love each and every week being here. I want to thank all the fans for tuning in, all the professional wrestling fans for tuning in and listening into the Pro Wrestling Personified Podcast, the Ring of Honor NXT edition and the Global Force Wrestling edition as well. So thank you very much, everybody. I really appreciate it. I was at the library this week, by the way. I went to the library looking for some good books, and I kind of lucked out there. I found Roddy Piper's book, and I found Pat Patterson's book there, Accepted, and I took both of them out, of course, and very happy because I haven't read any books in a while. Usually when it comes to books, it's got to be a sports book. It's mainly professional wrestling. I read a baseball book here and there, or a boxing book, but maybe the past 10 years, it's been mainly professional wrestling books, and I haven't read these two, so I'm very excited that they had them there. The Roddy Piper story, which was written by his kids, and Pat Patterson's book, Accepted, how the first gay superstar changed the WWE. And so I'm looking forward to reading those books. I'm actually halfway through the Roddy Piper book right now, and very, 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 very good book. Roddy Piper is my personal favorite professional wrestler of all time, so I'm really loving this book, and I'm going to be sad when it's over. So I still got halfway to go with the Roddy Piper book, and then I'm going to head on over to the Pat Patterson book. So that's had, as I said, 2 hours of quality professional wrestling program this week, and I got maybe about 600 pages of quality professional wrestling reading to do as well. So I'm in a good mood right now. So I got all this quality programming and all this quality reading, so it puts me in a good mood. But anyway, we're going to get into the wrestling action. Just a few quick plugs first. First, like I said, we're part of the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network. You can follow us on Twitter at Tapped Out Pod. You can follow me on Twitter at PWSOTH, or you can follow the podcast on Twitter at PW Personified. I thought I was going to cough there for a second. So that's at PWSOTH and at PW Personified. You could go to our website as well, the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast website, which is tappedoutvwrestlingpodcast.com. Go on there. So many so many podcasts on there that are just fantastic. We got the weekly flagship show. We have my other podcast, the Pro Wrestling Personified, the Global Force Wrestling Edition, and also just added as a brand new podcast, the Pro Wrestling Stop and Go with Jumping Jim McDougal and Billy B. Hearing great things about that, and it's apparently on fire right now. So go ahead and listen to those podcasts. And there's many, many, many other podcasts on there as well. Lots of great interviews to listen to. So go ahead and check that out. TappedOutWrestlingPodcast.com. And speaking of the Pro Wrestling Stop and Go, I'm actually going to be a guest on the Pro Wrestling Stop and Go in an upcoming episode. I think it's coming out next week, but I'm going to be guesting on there on their podcast. So I'm looking forward to that, getting on the podcast. And once it's recorded, I think it's going to be recorded then released next week. So something else to check out there. Pro Wrestling Stop and Go. Your old friend Lewis Carlin is going to be a guest on that show. So that's something I'm looking forward to. If you're a professional wrestling fan, if you're a mixed martial arts fan, if you don't have the Fight app, you got to get the Fight app. Very important. Lots of content on there. If you want to cook incredible meals from scratch, go to Blue Apron. Blue Apron, I believe it's blueapron.com. But what you can do is you go to tapdownwrestlingpodcast.com. All the links are there are for you. So go to tapdownwrestlingpodcast.com and you can get the link for the Fight app. You could get the link for Blue Apron as well. So go ahead and check that out. And Pro Wrestling Tees. If you need a t-shirt, go to prowrestlingtees.com. Great little website there for t-shirts. Support indie wrestlers. Buy a t-shirt. And if you want to read some terrific wrestling content, go to kayfabetoday.com. That's kayfabetoday.com. Terrific wrestling content on there. Alrighty. So, alright, so we got through all the plugs, just making sure. Yep, got through all the plugs. And I guess let's get into the wrestling action this week. Let me get my notes here. Into the wrestling action this week. We're going to start it off with NXT. NXT, the big main event was Pete Dunne taking on Wolfgang for the UK Heavyweight Championship, the United Kingdom Heavyweight Championship. So that was the main event, and that was, I'll tell you, that was a terrific main event. These UK wrestlers, they continue to impress, just from start to finish. It was a very, very good match. It started a little slow, which is fine, but they worked their way into it. The match told a good story. Wolfgang, 2 weeks ago, he got a pin. There was a tag team match, and he got the pin on Tyler Bate, and he specified that he wanted a shot at the UK heavyweight title, so he's getting it this week. But it was a very, very good match. Like I said, from start to finish. Wolfgang was very, very impressive. Hit some really nice moves, by Wolfgang. A few high flying moves as well. So this is very, very impressive, to see that. And he's kind of a big man too. So that was, like I said, very, very impressive. I know Pete Dunne was announced. The crowd just went absolutely nuts for Pete Dunne. He is so over. The bruiserweight, Pete Dunne was really, really over with the crowd. I don't know. I guess, I guess it works, because when you're thinking about it, like, you're thinking, you really see Pete Dunne or Wolfgang, on WWE TV. But it kind of works. It works for the NXT crowd, because the NXT crowd are real wrestling fans, so to speak. If it was like a WWE crowd where a lot of the fans are just casual fans, I don't think it would have worked. A lot of them wouldn't really know who Wolfgang or Pete Dunne is, in my opinion. But the match worked here. The crowd went nuts again, like I said, for Pete Dunne when he came down. So he was really, really, really over with the crowd. And he did win the match with his bitter end finisher. Won the match, retained the title. And, he hits these forearms are really, they seem so stiff. He hits these massive forearms to the chin, and they're really, really stiff forearms, and they really look like that they connect. So I don't know how, I guess, beforehand, Pete's like, hey, I'm gonna hit you with a few stiff forearms to the jaw, so be ready. And I mean, cause they looked really stiff, and, but he's very, very talented, Pete Dunne. And I know Mauro Ranallo kind of pointed out that he's only 23 years old. That's very, very impressive. He's got a long, successful career ahead of him in Pete Dunne. And I'm wondering what they're doing though with the UK television series that they said they were going to have. I don't think they're going with it right now. I think that's on hold right now. So really the only place to see, I guess, Pete Dunne defend his UK title is going to be NXT, which will be fine if they incorporate the UK wrestlers on NXT. I got zero problem with that. That would be a huge bonus for NXT fans if they incorporate the UK wrestlers on NXT and they add this title, make the UK title an NXT title. So that would be, again, no problem on my part if they do that, because these guys are so talented. You know, you have the Wolfgang, you have, not the Wolfgang, you have Wolfgang, who calls himself the last king of Scotland, which is a pretty cool nickname. Then you have, Tyler Bates, and you have Trent Seven, so you have a lot of talent there. So it'd be nice to see them incorporated into NXT if they're not getting their own show. But when the match ended, that wasn't the end of it though. After Pete Dunne, won the match, here comes Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly. They come to the ring. They surround Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne puts his title down. He says, "Hold on," and he nails Kyle O'Reilly with a stiff forearm. But they outnumber Pete Dunne, Cole, O'Reilly, and Fish, and they have the advantage over Pete Dunne. But Wolfgang comes in to help Pete Dunne. Now Wolfgang. He holds his own for a bit, but again, it's the numbers game. Cole, O'Reilly, and Fish, there's a 3-on-1 attack on Wolfgang, and they're beating out Wolfgang. Pete Dunne is outside of the ring. He's on the ring ramp, walking to the back, and he looks like he's getting pissed off. He's getting angry. He's starting to huff and puff, and he beelines for the ring. The crowd goes nuts, but he just grabs his title and then walks back up the apron, and he doesn't help Wolfgang, and that got a good laugh from me, because that was really well done, and it got a laugh from the crowd as well, because they roared with approval when he made a beeline for the ring, but it was just to get his title, and he walked back and he left Wolfgang on his own, and the three of them took out Wolfgang. Cole hit him with the Shining Wizard, and they beat down Wolfgang. But then they had some officials, and Trent Seven and Tyler Bate finally came out, and they ran off Cole, O'Reilly, and Fish. And there was a WWE.com exclusive where Tyler Bate and Trent Seven challenged Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, I believe for next week. So I'm sure that match is going to be accepted. So next week we'll see Tyler Bate and Trent Seven taking on Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. That's what I'm thinking. The challenge was made. They didn't officially announced the match for NXT next week, but I'm thinking next week we're going to see Bate and Seven against Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly on NXT TV. So that was a very, very fun main event, and with the addition of Cole, O'Reilly, and Fish, made it a really, really fun main event. And you gotta love Pete Dunne. That was a classic moment, beelining to the ring, but it wasn't to help Wolfgang. It was just to get his title back, and then he left the ring, kind of again just shrugging his shoulders, saying, "I'm not gonna help him." So that was really good. That was really good and really well done. The show actually opened this week with the Iconic Duo taking on Billy Kay and Peyton Royce. Now last week, Billy Kay and Peyton Royce, not taking on Peyton Royce. It was Billy Kay and Peyton Royce. They were taking on Ruby Riott. And she was supposed to get a tag team partner of her choice. She wanted a handicap match from last week, but William Regal refused it. He said, "No, with all good conscience, I can't give you a handicap match because basically it wouldn't be fair. But if you find a partner, then you could have a tag team match against the Iconic Duo." But this is the only confusing part this week was Ruby Riott's in the ring. She comes to the ring, and of course the Iconic Duo, Kay and Royce, are in the ring. And the referee, who was the female referee, don't remember her name, but the female referee, she calls for the bell. So we have a handicap match, which is a little confusing because last week, as I stated, William Regal said to Ruby Riott, "I'm sorry, but in all good conscience, I can't give you this handicap match because, like I said, it's not fair." But the match started as a handicap match, so I guess William Regal's authority means nothing to this female referee. it means nothing because this is the first time I've seen a female referee, and I either she made a rookie mistake, or she has no regard for William Regal's authority in NXT. So we had a handicap match for a bit, and eventually we saw Nikki Cross. We see her; she's watching the match. She's at ringside and she's watching the match, and finally, she decides, all right, I'm going to jump on the ring apron, and she tagged out to Ruby Riott, and there we have it. That's Ruby Riott's tag team partner. Although Ruby Riott looked a little confused, like saying, "This is my tag team partner." Didn't Ruby Riott spend any time looking for a tag team partner? Did nobody want to tag team with Ruby Riott? So that's why this part was a little confusing. She had a whole week to find a tag team partner, and I guess she couldn't find one, and then she looks confused, like, "Oh, this is what's going on here." Nikki, I know they're bitter enemies. Maybe that's why she looked confused. But nonetheless, Nikki Cross became Ruby Riott's tag team partner. Nikki Cross tagged out. Took out the Iconic duo. Kind of left Billie Kay. Kind of left her for dead. Tagged back in Ruby Riott. Ruby Riott's she hit a senton, and she wins the match. She pins Billie Kay. So the team of Ruby Riott and I guess Nikki Cross beat the Iconic duo Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. It was a fun little match. It's interesting though to see Nikki Cross and Ruby Riott as a team. I'm not sure why Nikki Cross would want to team with Ruby Riott, given the history that the two have. But she hates the Iconic duo more than she hates Ruby Riott. I don't know. Maybe it'll be explained in the upcoming weeks. But that's a lot of questionable things, a lot of gaps there that need to be filled. Basically, a lot of gaps that need to be filled there. So hopefully they'll fill them in the upcoming week or two. But I don't know, maybe they're trying. I know they got the NXT women's title is vacant, and I'm sure they're going to have some sort of tournament. I don't know, maybe they're trying to add some intrigue to the tournament. I don't know. But like I said, a lot of gaps here need to be filled. Hopefully in the next week or two they will fill these gaps and make sense of this whole thing. Yeah. Okay. And then after that, we had they showed a recap of the Johnny Gargano, Riddick Moss, Tino Sabatelli confrontation, in which this week we have the match. Johnny Gargano is taking on Riddick Moss. So we had a recap of that. And then we had No Way Jose giving a backstage interview about Lars Sullivan, and he says, then eventually he cuts a promo on Lars Sullivan, and then he challenges Lars Sullivan to a match next week. So next week is going to be Lars Sullivan destroying No Way Jose. It's not going to be much of a match. No Way Jose has no way. Let me start over. If you think No Way Jose has a chance of beating Lars Sullivan next week, I have to say no way, Jose. He has zero chance of beating Lars Sullivan. Lars Sullivan is gonna just run right over No Way Jose. No Way Jose, I guess, is just putting over talent now. And yeah, that should be. We'll see what happens next week. We'll see what happens next week. We'll see how quickly it takes Lars Sullivan to beat No Way Jose next week. And then we had Johnny Gargano taking on Riddick Moss, as I mentioned a few moments ago. Riddick Moss with Tino Sabatelli in his corner. And I didn't realize how much smaller Gargano is to Riddick Moss. Riddick Moss is a big dude, and Riddick Moss was pretty damn impressive in this match. And he controlled about 90 to 95% of this match was all Riddick Moss. And I gotta tell you, Riddick Moss looked damn good. I was really, really impressed with Riddick Moss in this one-on-one match against Gargano. Johnny Gargano, they're still playing that angle, or they just I guess because you saw it a little bit when he took on Almas at NXT Chicago, but they're playing that angle that he's still not quite the same after the DIY breakup and the Tommaso Ciampa attack. So they're kind of playing that. They're kind of playing that angle. Gargano, he had Moss in his finisher, the Final Escape, or the Gargano Escape, I should say, and usually once he gets that on, the match is over. But Moss was able to get to the ropes, and Gargano looked confused, and I mean, he really sold this look of confusion, like what's happening, what's going on with me, and so that was actually really good. The overselling was good also. He really sold it. So Gargano did wind up winning the match. He hit a slingshot spear through the ropes, and he wound up winning the match. But again, is playing that angle that he's not quite the same after breaking up with Ciampa and after the Ciampa attack. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes for Gargano if he can get his head back on straight. Because I know Ciampa is on the mend and he'll be back soon, and that's going to be a terrific feud when he comes back. Gargano against Ciampa. But I don't know. We'll see what goes on with Gargano. He's just playing on that angle that he's just not quite the same. Which is interesting. I wonder if they're going to do a Shawn Michaels thing where he kind of collapses in the ring. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with Gargano. I love Gargano. I love Johnny Wrestling. The guy is really talented. He's NXT Championship material, and I could see him holding the NXT title one day. But we'll see how this goes. We'll see how this angle plays out. See if he could get his composure and his back together and get his head back on straight after the big breakup. Then after that, we had the Street Profits taking on the Ely brothers, Gabriel and Uriel. Is it Gabriel and Uriel, the Ely brothers, the Ely twins. The Ely twins. So when you look at the Ely twins, the Ely twins were actually put over by Ricky Morton because they're twins and they could play. Apparently, they can do that twin magic. They could kind of, like, if one twin is hurt in the ring, the other one will come out, roll him out of the ring, and take his place in the ring. The only problem I see there is one Ely brother has a big tattoo on his arm, while the other one doesn't. So that's how you can tell them apart. That's the only difference I see there. So that's kind of gonna kind of play against them. And when the fans are watching, if they try to pull that quote unquote twin magic that the Bellas have made famous. Well, I don't know if they made it famous, but I know the Bellas have done that a few times. But and other wrestlers that are other like twin or brother wrestlers, they do that. Anyway, but the Ely brothers, one of them has a big tattoo and the other one doesn't, so it's going to be hard to do that. But they took on the Street Profits this week, and I'm rambling on about twin magic, trying to think of something to say, but you know what, that's why I just said, you know what, I should just, in my head, I'm saying, shut up about that. You're rambling on. You're not making sense. You sound like a schmuck. Just get on with the match, man. But bottom line is, one Ely brother has a big tattoo, the other one doesn't, so that twin thing's not really going to work for them, because the fans are going to know which one is which because of that tattoo. That's what I was trying to get out. That's what I was trying to spit out there, folks. So there you go. I got it out. But the Street Profits are freaking over with the crowd, with the NXT crowd. The NXT crowd loves the Street Profits, and Lewis Carlin loves the Street Profits. They got a nice pop. Montez Ford is the guy. The dude is freaking awesome. He's very athletic. He's connected with the crowd, as did Angelo Dawkins. But Montez Ford, this guy is freaking. He's incredible. Again, the crowd loves him. The crowd is into them. The crowd was into every move that they did. Montez Ford, he has a new monogram solo cup that says Street Profits on it. That's his thing. He comes out with a big solo cup. Probably it's got Gatorade or something in it. But it was a good, fun match. The Ely brothers look awesome. They just need work. And I know Ricky Morton, as I said, put them over. But maybe Ricky Morton could come back and give them a few more pointers because they look the part, but they kind of probably need a little more work in the ring. But the Street Profits did well. Of course, they won the match. They won the match with the pop-up powerbomb frog splash combo. It was a fast but a very, very fun match. And the Street Profits jumped into the crowd and celebrated. And their crowd is into the Street Profits. They're over. So this is a very, very exciting tag team. Very, very fun to watch. Yeah. They're gonna be NXT champions very, very, very soon. NXT tag team champions very soon. And I can see them. They'll be up on the main roster pretty quickly because they've gotten over really quickly and really fast. And again, very, 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 very fun team to watch. As I said, I am a fan of the Street Profits. So good work there, guys. Good work there. Keep up the good work, my men, I should say. Then from there, we had. What else did we have this week? I think I've gone over. They had a recap of Asuka stepping down, which was cool last week. Great moment, and they showed that over again. They're just a recap of her stepping down and giving up the NXT championship, women's championship, which is vacant now, and had that. And next week, Aleister Black is going to speak for the first time. So that's something interesting because he never speaks. He always avoids the interviews. So next week, Aleister Black speaks for the very first time. And it's going to be interesting to hear what Aleister Black, who, in my opinion, is the best wrestler right now in NXT, has to say next week. So, it'd be interesting, Aleister Black in the ring. And I would love for him to call out Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly. That would be a good little feud there if you call them out. And we got a black feuds with those three. They actually have a name now for Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish. I believe they're being called the Undisputed Era. The Undisputed Era is the name of the faction for Cole, O'Reilly, and Fish. But next week, I would love to hear Aleister Black call them out. That would be a terrific little feud there. Because Aleister Black being undefeated, that would be fantastic. But we'll see. We'll see what Aleister Black has to say next week. And also this week, William Regal touched upon the vacant women's title, and he said he's going to. Think about what to do about it, and I'm sure there's going to be some sort of tournament, and we'll find out what happens. I think Kairi Sane has signed with NXT. She actually was the winner of the Mae Young Classic. Great little wrestler there. Very, very talented. Has that amazing elbow drop from the top rope. I think it's called the Flying Insane Elbow, but very, very talented wrestler. I think she's going to be competing I think they announced that she'll be competing at the next takeover for the women's title. So maybe the next takeover is going to be a women's tournament for the crown of the new champion. Hey. You want to give it to Kairi Sane now. I can see Kairi Sane stepping in and taking Asuka's spot, immediately because she is very, very talented. And I don't think the fans, because they're both Japanese, even though they're both Japanese, I don't think the fans are going to think, oh, they're trying to bring in another Asuka, because Kairi Sane, has her own skill set and she's has her own persona, so you can't really get them mixed up. But Kairi Sane is, again, very, very talented, and I could see her as the next women's NXT champion. And would love to see Kairi Sane Asuka showdown at some point, which could happen. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with the NXT Women's Title. But at the next takeover, and I wanted to look it up online, but you look that stuff up online. You go to Wikipedia, and they'll announce matches, and it'll give away spoilers and stuff. So I don't. I was tempted to look to see if that's what they're doing at the next takeover, but I decided not to. But we'll see what happens with the NXT Women's Title. If I had to choose, I would say it was going to come down to Kairi Sane and Ember Moon, and I'm going to say Kairi Sane is going to be the next NXT Women's Champion. That's my prediction right there. Boom, done. That's my prediction. Kairi Sane is going to be the next NXT Women's Champion. So they have it. They have it for NXT this week. Good show. There's just that opening match was a lot of gaps that need to be filled in, as I mentioned, and hopefully they'll fill them in, because it was a little confusing with Nikki Cross and Ruby Riott. But other than that, the show was a great show. Favorite part, Pete Dunne, rushing the ring only to get his title, which was a great spot. So good stuff. And I'm looking forward to Aleister Black speaking for the first time next week. And, of course, Lars Sullivan next week taking on No Way Jose. All right, so let's get on to Ring of Honor, and then we could go over Death Before Dishonor. I'll give my predictions, and then we can wrap this baby up. All right, so Ring of Honor this week. Ring of Honor Wrestling, terrific show. As always, I don't think I've ever seen a bad match on Ring of Honor Wrestling, and wasn't one this week either. First match was Adam Page against Kenny King. Kenny King, as we know, is going to be challenging Kushida for the Ring of Honor television title at Death Before Dishonor. So the job here was to get Kenny King a big win going into that pay-per-view, and that's exactly what happened here. Kenny King defeated Adam Page, Hangman Adam Page, in a solid opening match to Ring of Honor Wrestling. Adam Page is immensely talented, as is Kenny King, and lots of big moves here. Kenny King hit a nice corkscrew plancha off the ring apron onto Adam Page. Adam Page's shooting star shoulder press is an incredible move. Love to see that move each and every time. So it was a very, very solid opener. Both guys, as I said, are very, very talented. But like I mentioned, the job here, the purpose of this match, I should say, was to get Kenny King a big win going into his Ring of Honor match with Kushida, and Kenny King wound up winning the match, as I mentioned, and he goes on to meet Kushida at Death Before Dishonor, which is going to be a fantastic match between the two, Kushida and Kenny King. But and after that, we had Caprice Coleman announces that on his next Coleman pulpit will be the Briscoe brothers. So the Briscoe brothers are going to be on Caprice Coleman's pulpit next week. And I guess he's trying to get his own little Piper Spit going. But so we'll see. That should be interesting to see what the Briscoe brothers have to say next week. And match number 2 was my favorite guy in Ring of Honor right now, Marty Scurll, taking on Ropingi Vice's Rocky Romero. And another great match. Marty Scurll, the guy he's an exceptional talent. He's so talented. He has the ring entrance is just phenomenal. I love his ring entrance. Phenomenal ring entrance. But very, very good match here. Couple of near falls. Marty Scurll does get the win, as expected. But both guys hit some big moves. There was great suspense in the match. It told a good story. But Marty Scurll came out on top and wins the match, and he's going into Death Before Dishonor, taking on Chucky T. So that's going to be another very, very good match as well. And we'll get into that, and I'll give you my predictions for that in a few moments as we run down the show here. But Marty Scurll, I kind of wish that he was still the Ring of Honor television champion, because he was a terrific television champion. And I know Kushida has a title, and another terrific wrestler there, but would have liked for them to have kept the title on Skrull. And I would love to see him get the title back, or I could even see Marty Skrull being the Ring of Honor World Champion one day. Guy's just a crazy, immensely talented individual. He's a great villain, great heel. Love Marty Skrull. Good things are going to happen for him. Definitely can see him as the Ring of Honor World Champion. Hopefully one day, but I would love to see him get that Ring of Honor television title back against Kushida somehow. I thought he thought he would have done it by now, but the Ring of Honor has decided to, of course, as we know, has decided to keep the title on Kushida. Don't get me wrong, Kushida is freaking phenomenal as well, and is well deserving of the Ring of Honor television title. It's just that I'd rather Marty Skrull be the Ring of Honor television champion. But I fully expect him to beat Chucky T. So there's my first prediction. I'm predicting Marty Skrull is going to beat Chucky T at Death Before Dishonor. Then from there we had Cody Rhodes, an in-ring promo about his upcoming match against Minoru Suzuki. He also introduced the real Ring of Honor, which is actually a ring. So he got this nice ring put on his finger, and he wanted to know if anybody wanted to kiss the ring. And there was also the gentleman that was there that presented him the ring. Cody Rhodes made him kiss the ring. And then Cody Rhodes went out to the crowd, asked if anybody wanted to kiss the ring. He found a fan, held the ring out, and the fan kissed the ring. So that was a pretty cool spot as well. So Cody Rhodes against Minoru Suzuki, the never openweight champion Minoru Suzuki, coming up at Death Before Dishonor. So that was a quick little effective in-ring promo for Cody Rhodes this week on Ring of Honor television. They can only give him so much time because it is a 1-hour show. I personally thought that Dalton Castle was going to come out because of Cody Rhodes' attack on him last week. I thought Dalton Castle was going to come out and try to get some revenge, but that didn't happen. But like I said, it's a 1-hour show. You can only get so much airtime in the ring before they have to go to the main event. So again, effective little promo by Cody Rhodes, and I love Cody Rhodes as the Ring of Honor World Champion, and I can see him holding that title for quite some time right now, and of course, if he does lose it, as I mentioned, Marty Scurll could step in for the Bullet Club and win the Ring of Honor World Title as well. But I see Cody Rhodes holding on to that title for quite some time. And all right, so we had our main event, which was Vinny Marseglia and TK O'Ryan taking on Mark and Jay Briscoe. And any match that has the Briscoe brothers, is going to be hard-hitting. And this match was hard-hitting. Jay Briscoe was on fire, looking to get revenge against the Kingdom for their attack on him over the last few weeks. He was just, like I said, came out as a ball of fire. Hard-hitting match. Very, very, very good main event match. It was a great main event match. All four wrestlers worked well. The Briscoes are they're one of the best tag teams in the world. And Jay Briscoe he's just phenomenal. Phenomenal. And I remember speaking to the Beer City Bruiser during the interview and him telling me that anytime you're in the ring with Jay Briscoe, you're going to know about it for the next 2 weeks following the match, because he's a very, very hard-hitting wrestler. And there's no exception. He had a lot of hard hits, a lot of big moves here. And Jay Briscoe hit the Jay Driller on TK O'Ryan to win the match for his team. So the Briscoes went ahead. They went on to win this main event, which was a great main event. Marseglia and TK O'Ryan, two very talented wrestlers as well, and they held their own against the superior Briscoe brothers, but it did, like I said, lead to a great main event. But the Briscoe brothers came out on top, as was expected. And Matt Taven actually, he the third member of the Kingdom, Marseglia and T.K. O'Ryan and Matt Taven of the Kingdom, wasn't there this week, which was interesting. I was wondering, I was waiting for him to come out somehow and attack the Briscoe brothers. And Bully Ray was on commentary, and I thought Bully Ray was gonna. The reason why he's on commentary is because Matt Taven's gonna come out and interfere, and Bully Ray would come out and help the Briscoes because they have the big 6-man tag team match coming up at Death Before Dishonor. But Taven never appeared, and Briscoe brothers went over as I expected. But again, very, very, very excellent main event. Excellent main event. And next week it was mentioned that we're gonna have an Honor Rumble. So that should be interesting next week. They didn't mention if there's any reward for the winner of the Honor Rumble, if they're going to get a TV title shot or if they're going to get a world title shot. But next week is the Honor Rumble on Ring of Honor Wrestling TV. So there you have it. This week for Ring of Honor. And as I promised, I'm going to run down September 22nd's Death Before Dishonor 15, the big card that's coming on pay-per-view for Ring of Honor. And as we know, the main event will be Cody defending his Ring of Honor World Championship against the never open-weight champion of New Japan Wrestling, Minoru Suzuki. And that match should be an absolute fantastic encounter between the two. If I have to pick a winner, I don't see Suzuki winning the Ring of Honor World Championship. So I'm going to pick Cody to retain. Bullet Club, of course, is probably most likely going to get involved, which will enable Cody to retain his title. But stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened in Ring of Honor Wrestling. So if Suzuki does come away as Ring of Honor World Champion, which I don't think he will, but I won't be shocked. My jaw won't hit the ground or anything like that. But I'm saying Cody is going to retain the championship next week. Then we have the Ring of Honor World Television Championship as the champion Kushida puts the belt on the line against Kenny King. I don't know. This could go either way. It's a pick-up match. I love Kushida. I love Kushida as champion. I would rather, like I said, have Marty Scurll, but Kushida is immensely talented. I love seeing him as a champion. But I'm going to go with Kenny King. I'm going to say Kenny King is going to become the new Ring of Honor World Television Champion. So I'm picking Kenny King to beat, it's the coin flip match. So I just quickly flipped the coin and it landed on heads and I had heads for Kenny King. So I'm going to say Kenny King is going to walk out the Ring of Honor World Television Champion. Then we have the, Kingdom taking on the Kingdom, Matt Taven, T.K. O'Ryan, and Vinny Marseglia taking on Bully Ray and the Briscoe brothers, and the winner will receive a Ring of Honor World 6-Man Tag Team Championship match later in the show against the Young Bucks and Adam Page. So the winner of that match will get a shot at the Ring of Honor World 6-Man Tag Team Championship later on in that show. Who's going to win? I'm going to go with the Kingdom. I think something's going to happen with Bully Ray and the Briscoes. I think there's going to be a split there. I think the Briscoes are going to turn on Bully Ray. It's kind of been hinted that Jay Briscoe might be turning heel. And I think him and Mark are going to turn, or even Jay Briscoe is going to turn on Bully Ray and Mark Briscoe there. And I think the Kingdom are going to go over, and the Kingdom are going to win that match, and they're going to receive a shot at the Ring of Honor World 6-Man Tag Team Championship against the Young Bucks and Adam Page. So from there, if I'm right, then it's going to be the Bucks and Adam Page defending the 6-Man Tag Team Championship against the Kingdom, Matt Taven, T.K. O'Ryan, and Vinny Marseglia. And I'm going to say the Kingdom. The Kingdom's going to come out as the new 6-Man Tag Team Champions. It'll be their second reign. So I'm going to say they're going to come out. The Kingdom is going to come out They're going to go over, and they're going to wind up being the new Ring of Honor World Six-Man Tag Team Champions. I know TK Orion was out for a bit with the leg injury. Whether that was kayfabe or not, I'm not sure, but he's back, and I think the Kingdom are going to regain the Six-Man Tag Team Championship. So there you have it there. We got Jay Lethal taking on Silas Young with the Beer City Bruiser in a last man standing match. This is gonna be another incredible match. Anytime Lethal and Silas Young get together, it's magic, and this match is going to be no exception. It's going to be a brutal match, brutal match between the two. But I'm going with Jay Lethal over Silas Young in a last man standing match. I'm sure Beer City Bruiser will get involved somehow, but in the end, Jay Lethal will be standing with his arm raised in victory. And after that, we have a Las Vegas street fight between Jay White and Punishment Martinez. This match could steal the show. Both good young talents in the ring. They have a nice little feud going. And, ow. I think I just cut my hand. I'm sorry. Yeah, I just cut my hand. Anyway, sorry about that. I bladed because I got stomped in the hand. But I don't know. There's a little sharp piece under my table here, and I'll have to take care of that. I'll take care of that afterwards. But anyway, Jay White against Punishment Martinez, Las Vegas street fight. I'm going to go with Jay White. Jay White to be victorious over Punishment Martinez. And singles match, as I mentioned, Marty Scurll against Chucky T, which is an interesting match that they put together there. So I'm going with my guy Marty Scurll, as I mentioned earlier. Marty Scurll will defeat Chucky T. Should be a tremendous match there as well. Both guys very, very talented. And then the Young Bucks, they're pulling double duty on this card. In addition to defending the World Six-Man Tag Team Championship with Adam Page, they're defending their ROH World Tag Team Championship against the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. So Matt and Nick Jackson defending against Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. Young Bucks aren't losing. Young Bucks go over here in a tremendous match between two teams, and Young Bucks go over and retain the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship. So there you have it. That's the card. The full card so far. Whether a match or two gets added, I'm not sure, but that's the card that I have here. And all 8 matches have tremendous potential. This is going to be a phenomenal card. Now, and I was thinking, it's going to cost me about $30. I'm probably going to wind up ordering this card. This is going to be just a tremendous card of Ring of Honor wrestling. Ring of Honor, this over and over again, they always deliver, and this card is going to deliver big time, and I'm looking forward to it. So there you have it. This week in Ring of Honor Wrestling and NXT, and that's it. I'm done. I got everything, gave you my predictions. Really looking forward to Death Before Dishonor 15. Cody and Minoru Suzuki should be a tremendous main event. Jay White and Punishment Martinez, as I said, could steal the show. That's going to be a tremendous match as well. And I'm looking forward to seeing my guy Marty Scurll in action against Chucky T. I'm looking forward to the whole card, actually. But anyway, that's it for me. That's it for me this week. And of course, I'll be back next week, running down all the action again for Ring of Honor Wrestling and NXT. So until next week, I'm going to say thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in again this week, downloading the podcast and listening to the podcast. It's very much appreciated. And until next week, thank you, everybody. See you. I'd love to meet every one of you, but I'm not going to see you. But I'll be back next week. So take care. So long. Bye-bye. And of course, please stay safe, everybody. Bye-bye.